want to glorify my Lord. I want to praise his holy name to a world that's lost and dying. And I want to point them to the cross and the risen Lord proclaim, ever praising, magnifying. I will stand for Jesus, though at times I stand alone. My faith will be my shield, his word my sword. And when Satan comes against me, I pray that I'll stand strong. I want to glorify my Lord.
This is Brother Marvey Wood. Once again, we welcome you to From the Heart, coming from the studio here at 9406 New Glasgow Road in Scottsville, Kentucky. WPBM TV, Proclaim Broadcasting. We're so thankful that you're watching today, and today I have with me David Holder. Here, he lives in Scottsville, Kentucky, and David is someone that's really been in this area for a period of time. He was gone for a period of time also, but today especially I want us to talk about a singing that's going to take place, and that's March the 28th, just I think from now. March the 28th at Abounding Grace, my home church, Abounding Grace, 153 Cartertown Road in Scottsville, Kentucky. And I just asked him to come, and we're going to talk a little bit about his life, but at the same time we're going to try to promote this singing, because I think it's something that people would enjoy coming to. I've got a little brochure here. It talks about Dave Holder, Hymns and Harmonies, it's called. All right. A night of congregational hymn singing and group harmonies, Saturday, March the 28th, 6 p.m. And it's at Abounding Grace Ministries, 153 Cartertown Road, Scottsville, Kentucky. There's some groups that are going to be there, but this is a hymn singing. It's not just a concert where you come.
No.
Just tell us a little bit about.
Well, it's good to be here. Thank you for having me. And I'm really anxious to get this singing going, because a lot of planning's gone into it. And it is exactly as you said, a congregational singing as much as groups singing. It'll be more congregational singing, and then sprinkle in the groups to sing. All the groups probably maybe do a couple of songs during the evening, trying to hold the program to about 90 minutes. We don't want to wear folks out, but it's just a night of singing with the folks that are coming. It's not a sit and get. It's more of a participation event, and singing the old songs of the songbook. I mean, the old redback hymnal and the church hymnals folks have in their churches that they grew up singing, and really a big push for crowd participation is what I'm hoping for, and just relax and just have a big old gospel sing. That's just kind of the intent of the whole thing, you know.
The groups that are going to be there to sing is the Commonwealth Quartet.
There, I have this is hopefully a concert series that I'm presenting called Hymns and Harmonies, and the folks that will be there at every one. I hope to take this around the state of Kentucky, maybe 4 or 5 times a year, in maybe northern middle Tennessee, and there'll be a cast of groups, so to speak, that will be at all of those singings. And then each time I'll invite another group in, maybe another family group or a bluegrass group, or maybe a soloist. There'll be what I'm calling a guest. But at this particular singing we're having coming up, it's going to be Commonwealth Quartet will be there, Music City Boys will be there, Jay and Sandra Boyd, we'll talk about those folks in a minute if you'd like, will be there. And the Blakey Quartet from Jamestown, Kentucky will be there. And my guest this time will be the Garmins. Carrie Garmin, you've known as I have so many years. They're going to be there as well. So a lot of talent to sprinkle into the congregational singing that we're going to do.
But I mean, you'll be singing along with them as well?
Well, you can. Yeah. They always recommend that, and encourage that. But we'll start out and just sing a couple of hymns and do the whole cheerleading thing, get folks involved, you know, and get everybody comfortable with singing. And it doesn't matter if you can sing or not, or if you think you can sing or not. Folks are shy sometimes with that, but it'll be like a church service when you go sing on Sunday mornings. And then we'll stop and talk a little bit, and then I'll say, hey, come on up here, somebody, and they'll jump up there and sing one, and folks can enjoy that. And then we'll go back and sing another couple of hymns, and just a big sing-along, kind of like a singing school. Used to be back in the 30s and the 40s when, of course, they had those here at the Tabernacle, and you've seen the newspaper articles. I have as well, but you know, they'd put 3,000 or 4,000 people on the hill out there at the Tabernacle here in Allen County, and it's going to be something similar to that. It'll be something similar to the actual hymn sings that Gerald Wolfe travels around the country and does. And, I've been to several of those, and it's on our level, you know, with folks who sing around in this, 100-mile radius around here.
Of course, you won't have to have a red book or a song book, because we're going to put the words on a screen
Hopefully,
overhead.
yeah.
And I did talk to the fellow that controls our system, and I found out how we can do that.
That's good. Yeah, you won't have to hold a book or anything like that, and you're going to know most of the songs anyway by heart. Some of those songs, you know, when you get down like to verse 3 that no one ever sings, might be a little challenging, but it's just right back and let her fly, sing by the letter, as they used to say, and really, really focusing on folks. You know, I want folks to leave the service saying to each other in the car, you know, that was a good service first, and I felt something while I was there, and but that was just a good singing, and people get all wrapped up in concerts and all of those kinds of things, but folks are, I think, hungry for just a good old gospel singing. That's what it's going to be.
And once again, that's March the 28th.
Yep, 6 p.m. Central Time at Abounding Grace Ministries Church. Very easy to get to, and you know it's right at the intersection of 31E south of Scottsville and Cartertown Road. Great parking at the church. Level, no steps to deal with, and all of that. And Brother Marvey and I went by the church yesterday. I had never been, as I was telling him, in the upstairs of the church. I've been in the basement when they started there. And the church is just beautiful. I mean, it's just terrific. Seats, we think about 300 or so. I'd like to have 450 there. Make up to all those chairs you've got, put them in the aisles, and just have to cram them in there. It would even be great if we could actually have to put them in the basement and then just start a little carousel and run the groups down there and sing to those folks down there, and just have a big time.
Well, we're looking forward to that. And once again, it's at Abounding Grace, and it's 153 Cartertown Road, but it's right on the corner.
Yeah, it's easy.
Coming out of Scottsville, going towards Gallatin. It's the church that has a white fence around it. That's how you can recognize that church more than anything else. Just past the Minute Mart, or Casey's now.
Casey's,
Everything changes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Past Casey's and past the, and I'm just, you know, I remember those singings when you were talking. I mean, Danny Patterson, I don't know whether you know Danny or not. Many years ago, back in the 70s, he actually came to the church I was attending at that time. I was a church clerk and treasurer at Bethlehem Missionary Baptist Church.
Yeah.
And he conducted a singing school.
Sure.
And I mean, I was a shy, backward person that couldn't talk couldn't talk plain when I was young. And really because of that, I was very backward, because people would laugh at me because of the way words would come out. And I really never thought I could ever sing.
Now you're on TV.
And and Danny came to, I didn't know him, he came, and the next thing I know, he got me up in front of the church, and I amazed myself. I was just absolutely stunned that I was able to sing.
Yeah.
And praise God. I saw him just a short while ago singing in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and I went up to him, and I couldn't keep from crying because I was remembering, how that took place, and had a great impact on my life.
Danny still goes around around the state of Tennessee and in Georgia and maybe even Arkansas. A guy I went to school with down in Westmoreland, Jeff Gregory, they go to all kinds of singing conventions and schools, maybe is a looser term used now. They still have them all over. That's what you went to in Bowling Green, something similar to that. Mm-hmm. And Danny's a great songwriter too. He's written so many great songs, and of course he sang in a quartet back in the 70s here with Bernie Napier and Carol Thomas and Sonny Frost and Larry Overton. They were called the Gospel Tones when I was a kid, you know. And growing up, those folks were my heroes, you know.
You were brought up, your father and your mother, they sung the Holder Trio. Is that
started as the Holder Trio in 1957, and then transferred into just the Holders because the family started growing. My sister and I came along, and I started when I was 5 playing the bass with the group, and she started singing even at 2 years old. She would get up and sing on stage, you know, and we just, all those years, just traveled all over the place. Dad pastored churches, and we'd get out of the Sunday morning service, and depending on how long-winded he was, we'd jump in the station wagon, drive 40 miles to a homecoming and swallow a piece of dead chicken and jump up there and sing for about an hour and a half, and then ride back to church on Sunday night. That's the way I was raised.
John and Sue Holder, I'm sure many people watching this broadcast will remember them, and you were telling me that he's still doing well at the age of 87. He was out with a chainsaw working in the yard.
Saw him just a minute ago, and Mom can still play the piano just like she always did, and they can still sing, and both of them are 87 and doing well, and just very blessed that they're still around. Well,
there are other things that you're doing and involved with these days also. So
I am. I'm got a recording studio at my house here in Scottsville, and actually I'm building a studio next door in a big garage that I built right next door to the house after we moved home. We were in Florida for almost 20 years. And we've been home for 4.5 years now. And I had a recording studio, small studio in Florida. Sang with quartets the whole time I was down there, and I was a school administrator for many years down there, and moved home and working in my studio and working with the radio network we had discussed, and singing with 2 quartets. I traveled with 2 different quartets. Sometimes that gets a little strange. I may be in Clarksville, Tennessee that morning, Sunday morning with a group, and then have to be in Russellville, Kentucky at 1:30 with the other one, but it's worked out good, and just singing the gospel to a lot of folks with those 2 quartets, Commonwealth Quartet and Music City Boys, and they'll both be at this concert as well, and just trying to stay busy.
Yeah. So you're going to be leading this concert and leading the singing, and then turning around singing with both the Commonwealth Quartet and the Music City Boys.
That's exactly what's going to happen. Growing up, I really paid attention to class singing, so to speak, what they used to call it, congregational class singing. And the song leaders that were able to get up at a homecoming service or at a gospel sing, and they'd ask different ones. B.C. Frost used to be one Mom would talk about, and I remember when I was a kid. And I was always fascinated how those song leaders could get up there and they could really pull it out of the crowd and really get them involved and wouldn't let them sit there. And that's what's going to happen March the 28th, because I'm just really anxious for people to feel like that they've participated in this Hymns and Harmonies sing that we're going to have out at Abounding Grace, and those class singing times when those voices start ringing in the rafters of the church, singing all those great gospel songs. It's just, it really does something for me.
disc jockey is not the right word for it, but for this this app that you have on the smartphone.
Yeah, if it's okay to talk about Real Southern Gospel Radio, Real Southern Gospel Radio was originated by a guy named Les Butler, who's been around gospel music for 50 years. He formerly ran Reach Network back in the 90s, Solid Gospel, when the first satellite gospel, Southern Gospel network ever. He was the editor of the Singing News for many years, publisher. And he started this network about 4 years ago, and it has grown exponentially would be probably the correct word. And I met Les about a year and a half ago, and we just started talking, had some common interest, and I went to work for him. And the network is it's internet based, but we're in all 50 states, and we're in 160 foreign countries. And because it's internet based, you can actually look at a map and see who's listening where, when. And it's just incredible, the growth. And I do all of his liners and all the voiceovers and things, and I do a show every morning at 7 on the network. We're in syndication now with terrestrial radio stations all across the country, and I fill in if he has to be away, or if other folks, on-air folks have to be away. I'll sometimes fill in and do their shows, but Greg Hutchins is there, award-winning gospel DJ for 30 years. Gary Kahn, he's on in the afternoons, award-winning Southern gospel DJ known across the industry. And the music it's named correctly. It's real traditional Southern gospel music with all of the folks, the McCameys and the Inspirations and the Cathedrals, and all the way back to the Blackwoods and the Statesmen, the Lefevres, and we play all the newest releases from the groups. There's radio singles, and there are preaching clips in every hour of the day from evangelists and pastors around the country. We focus a lot on the Redback hymnal songs. That's every hour. Tim Lovelace and Mark Bishop, we have interesting things that they do throughout the day. We sprinkle in a little bluegrass gospel, a little country gospel in with the traditional Southern gospel, and it's turned into a big deal. The real umbrella is the radio network and 4 record labels and a talent agency and a publication arm, and big things are happening with Real Southern Gospel, and I'm very fortunate to be a part of it.
Well, things have changed, I mean, that's like, here we are on television today. At one time, we would have never thought that would be possible here in Scottsville, Kentucky. And then today, the internet is just unbelievable, the reach that they have with that. I was just thinking back, as you said, the tabernacle here. Someone that was at my home before I left talking about they passed by the tabernacle, and it's just about fallen in. I mean, and people have tried to save it over the years, and it's just, they haven't been able to get a grant and get the money together to save that tabernacle. Yeah. But it just amazes me when I look back and see some of those old clippings you were talking about. 4,000 people in Scottsville, Kentucky,
they park?
Back in the 30s, or in the early 40s. 4,000 people in Scottsville, Kentucky, at a singing at the tabernacle, which it wouldn't hold but a few hundred, I think.
Well, at that time, there were no walls on the tabernacle. I was part of, back in the 90s, I was part of the first rejuvenation, if you will, of the tabernacle, and went in and did a whole lot of things, but it has not been maintained for sure, and it's really sad. It really is. It could still be a mecca that groups of all kinds would love to come, just kind of like the Ryman Auditorium, because back in those days when they would have the singing schools out, my mom, her grandfather would take her to those big singing schools out there, and those gospel sings. And I mean, everybody knows that was popular back then, from the Statesmen to the Blackwoods to the Lefevres to the Spear family, to all of them, sang in that building back when they were at their height of their popularity.
Even back, as you said, I mean, in the well, I'm not sure of the time element here, but they would have singings over there, and my wife and I would go, and we met Lois Jane, if you know Lois Jane, and she became a great friend, and we were on the bus with Lois Jane many times, and many other people like that. I mean, the Camies, they first began to come here in an old van, really.
Sure.
And we became friends with them. They've been in our home, and we've been with them and been on their bus. And it seems that singings in this area, let's just go ahead and say it, they don't seem to attract the crowd they once did.
They don't, and that's part of the reason for my motivation to do this.
Right.
Is to, my family, we've been singing, they've been singing since 1957. And I don't know how many churches are still in Allen County, but there's a lot. And we sang in most of them at one time or another. Churches that now probably haven't had a singing in 25 years, And, gospel singing is a great, it'll never take the place of preaching. No one claims that, but it does have a place. And it does reach some folks that won't go sit in a preaching service. You can't probably find a group anywhere that wouldn't say that they've seen people get saved and come to Christ at a gospel sing.
Right.
And it does serve a purpose, and not just that purpose, but an uplifting purpose for folks in the church. And, not to draw crowds from other churches or all those kinds of things, but just it does serve a purpose. And I would love to see it get back to that.
I'm sensing, and I've spoke about this in the last few interviews I've done here. In our area, there's a lot of young men that have felt a call in the ministry, and they've begun ministering and even taking over churches that were just virtually going to be deserted. And God seems to really be moving. And at the same time, I've seen a great interest in the singing.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been having a Night to Unite service is the first of every month. I think this next month in April it's going to be the second Sunday night because Easter is the first first Sunday. And I think the one we had, one of the services, we had 487 people in that one, and over 300 in another one. And there was a time that it was hard to get that many people to come to church for a revival.
Sure.
But I really sense that God is moving. I see Him calling young men into the ministry. And also I've seen young people begin to be involved in singing once again.
And musicianship and the opportunities that there are in churches and in the different genres of Christian music. It's not all the same. I'm partial to Southern gospel. Some folks like the praise and worship and the Christian contemporary and all that, but there's a place for everybody. And churches have been practicing this for years. They just don't really know it. The message doesn't change. The method can change. I know that because they have, Family and Friends Day, or they have a hot dog roast, or they have a ice cream supper. So the method to get folks into the church can be adjusted, but the message is always the same. And Southern gospel music is a very big industry, if I can use that word, all across the world and certainly across the country. And some young folks, if you put green beans in front of a kid, eventually they'll try them. And they'll either decide they don't like it or not. And Southern gospel's kind of the same way. I've had people tell me stories about, they'd go to their first gospel concert and see four men standing up there in a quartet, and they don't even understand how four voices can sing together like that because they've never heard it, never been exposed to it. So I'm a very big advocate of putting that in front of young folks because it was put in front of me. That was the only music that was in my house.
Yeah, I'm thinking back. I mean, years ago, I was involved, at Bethlehem Missionary Baptist Church. I began at McCamey's, we had them there, and then I was involved at White Plains Free Methodist Church and began to, we had the Hoppers back when it was the Hopper Brothers and Connie, all right?
Sure.
And we had
Pains.
we had the Pains, we had the Hemp Hills,
Yeah.
we had so many different groups back then, and I love that music, and I know I love that music. We've got bugs flying around us here.
One wants to get into the interview here. Well, there's the folks who do this for a living. They're called professional groups that travel from town to town on the weekends, starting on Wednesdays and Thursdays. But there is such a large number of what's called the weekend warriors, the people who sing on Saturdays and Sundays and Sunday nights, 2 hours from home, and then they're back at work Monday morning for their occupation and for their living. I really have a big passion for the weekend warrior folks, because that's what I've been in for 57 years now, and those folks really do give a lot of effort, and to do that at most of the time, probably 95% of the time, at either a break even or a cost to them. So it's not about all of that that some folks may think that's what it's about. It's not about that. That genre and that group of people. About a year ago, I did a little research on maybe 10 or 15 states in the Southeast. I found 400 groups just in a very, very shallow Google search, looking at weekend gospel artists and things, and that's what this Hymns and Harmonies thing is about. Part of that, those 5 guests that are going to be there that night, they are weekend groups, and coupling that with the congregational / class singing, it's going to be a great night out there.
Of course, here on our station, we've got the Sneed family music, and actually Seth Sneed is over here behind the camera, and I know that they've traveled around for years, as you said, from place to place. And,
Sure.
It wasn't anything that made any money, but it was a ministry that really reached the people. So we appreciate them. We appreciate all the others, and we appreciate what you're doing here. And once again, we just want to invite the people. You can look in the camera and just tell them one more time.
All right, here we go. March the 28th, 6 o'clock Central Time at the Abounding Grace Ministries Church, 153 Cartertown Road, just on the south side of Scottsville. If you're coming from the north, you go through that last red light at Highway 100. Start looking. It's right up there on the little top of the little next ridge on your left. Commonwealth Quartet will be there. Jay and Sandra Boyd will be there. The Garmans will be there. The Blakey Quartet from Jamestown, Kentucky will be there. The Music City Boys from Hendersonville, Tennessee will be there. We're going to do a lot of congregational singing. We're going to have fun, and we're going to sing. And it's going to be a big time out there. 6 o'clock Central Time. Don't wait till 5:45 to get there. You might not get a seat. That's what I'm counting on.
All right. Well, we thank you very much for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
Having an interview with us, and we appreciate you and your ministry and what you're doing, and we're just believing God's going to bless that, and many people will come, and lives can be changed. People can be saved at a hymn singing.
Without a doubt.
My sword, and when Satan comes against me, I pray that I'll stand strong. I want to glorify my